Mignonette. Hi, Travis.
Hello.
What brings y'all in for counseling today?
Um, what brought us in is I've been wanting to work on communicating better with Travis in terms of how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking, um, and hopefully that will decrease some anxiety that I've been having as we've been married. So that's what I'm hoping that we'll be able to do here.
What about you, Travis?
Uh, she made me come. No. No. I mean, she wants to. She's been wanting to work on this, so I'm here to get better. Hopefully.
How long have you all been married?
2.5 years.
Can you remember what the beginning of your relationship was like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fast.
Fast. We met online. We hung out a few times. Um, I ended up having a situation happen where I needed to stay with her for a little bit. I was only supposed to sleep in a spare room,
Hmm.
um, and get my own place. Like just stay, so I had a place to rest my head and work and do my thing. And next thing I know, I love her.
Sure, with some intermediate stuff.
Yeah, there was some
You love it.
intermediate.
Okay.
There was some intermediate, but I looked at her and said, "I think I love you," and she's like, "I think I love you too," and we've been inseparable ever since.
Okay.
I think we've been apart for 1 week when I went to Virginia for work, and
It's a good state, by the way.
yeah, I wanted to move there. Being there, I was like, I'd buy a house here today, and yeah, we've just been together ever since.
So what do you do for work?
I work in IT usually. I was laid off in March from Eskenazi Health, from their help desk, and so I'm just kind of Mr. Mom right now until I'm back on somewhere.
It's a pretty strong job.
Yeah, it is, but it is also a very people do not appreciate IT and infrastructure like they should.
And would Mignonette be included in that? People who aren't appreciative of IT?
Of IT. No. Yeah.
Very opposed.
Yeah. Yeah. She doesn't like technology like that. I'm trying to talk her into a robot vacuum right now. So, and she's not trying to have that. So.
Okay. So, tell me 3 things that you wish you could change in your relationship.
Better go first.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think I would change anything. I think that our dynamic works for us. I feel like we have a healthy opposition. Like we're kind of whatever I lack, he has, and whatever he lacks, I have. So we kind of balance each other out that way.
To kind of each other's yin and yang.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I wouldn't change anything really. But we have each other's backs. That's the important thing. Um, we've always had a thing in our relationship. She said it first, and I swear by it to everybody. No expectations. There are no expectations in that, like of her for me or for me of her. Like I don't expect anything other than the normal honesty, loyalty, and respect. Those are the only things that I ask for, and that tends to be the only thing that she asks for. So we have that dynamic, and it works.
So you feel like you two do a good job of meeting each other's expectations?
Yeah, because we don't have any. We don't have
You
any.
said honesty, loyalty, and respect.
That
That's
those are
something.
that is the one thing.
Those are core relationship qualities that we both look for.
Yeah, I mean those are life qualities.
Yeah,
I look for the same thing in my friends.
Yeah.
So.
And so, Mignonette, going back to when you expressed your concerns for wanting to come to therapy, can you talk a little more about those?
Well, I've thought that since I'm getting to a place where we've been together a while and I feel comfortable and I've been opening up and trying to be more honest and communicating with Travis. I just thought that in this type of setting with someone that's objective, maybe that will help me to better communicate even more so because it's a really big challenge that I have and I really am trying and I really want this marriage to be healthy and last, as long as it's meant to. And I think a lot of that I have to put more guards down and communicate better and not worry about feelings of judgment because he's never judged me or made me feel bad or stupid for feeling a certain way. He's always been very supportive, and I feel more comfortable now than maybe early on or in any other relationship because he's let me see that it's okay to be upset or say these things. And I just want to be able to do that more than what I have been. I recognize that I haven't been very good at it. Just kind of letting things sit too long.
She's good at communicating when you can get past the rabid dogs and the sniper towers that are on the walls. Once you scale the walls, get past the snipers and the dogs, catch your breath.
So it's like get down to what deep down
Yeah,
inside.
yeah, exactly. Once you get past all of the security, you're good.
So, what are you all shared goals for therapy? What is it that you all hope to obtain out of coming to couples therapy?
I guess just a little bit more communication. Being able to be a little more open without, I don't know, I guess for her, it seems like for her feeling safe and warm all the time. I don't mean to sound condescending in any way,
For her
but
to feel secure.
more of a secure, like to know that like regardless of what it is, just talk. It's fine. Like nothing's going to make me, you know, turn around and run at this point. You know, I'm not going anywhere. So.
What about you?
I agree with that goal. I think just working on communication, maybe perspective, because and we talk about this quite often. And when we go back to looking at how we're brought up in our childhoods and things like that, there's a dynamic of Travis grew up in same parent household, and his parents are married and they've been married, and he grew up with that. And controversially to mine, my parents are divorced, so I only have that to the age of 8. And so then my parents got divorced after that, so I've always just had my mom. So it's just a perspective of how things could be perceived differently, in our family.
And so when you say perceived differently, you're referring to the differences in how you all were raised and how that kind of shaped you for how you want to parent your children and the things that you instill into your parenting.
Yeah.
Okay. So in talking about children, let's talk a little about your children. How many children do you all have?
5.
Okay.
I have 2 from my previous marriage, and then she has 3.
And so how are the dynamics with the blending?
I mean,
It's
yeah.
it's good. I mean, I think at the beginning there was just a little bit of adjustment because all the kids were getting to know each other, but now it's like they're just all crazy, loud brothers and sisters.
Fight with the best
That's why
of
I
them.
work weekends.
And do you feel that
Thank you. I appreciate it.
do you feel the blending has caused a strain on you all's relationship, or do you feel like communication was different before everyone was under one roof versus you moving in and everyone being here together now?
Um, you know, yeah, of course, blending in the beginning was the most taxing. Me being more of a disciplinarian, and having a certain structure, you know, I came in and it was like set bedtimes. This is how we do things. This is what time we eat. This is the way things are going. That was hard for Mignonette especially. Um, and I think think it was more of a culture shock for the kids. Because I grew up with a military father, and we ate at a certain time. We did things,
Yeah.
and that definitely carried through my life. I, up until recently, up until these last few years, honestly, my whole thing was if you're early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late. If you're late, don't bother. That's had to change having 5 children. Now it's just like, can we get to the car? Let's just try to get to the car. So yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was a definite culture shock for everybody. Not my kids so much because they were used to. They know me. They know I'm strict. They know I don't play. But also, like, who are these kids? Who are these kids? You know what I mean? And who is this lady?
If you
All
can't
of
sit
those
with
things.
us.
Yeah, exactly. Like who? And I mean, over time, it took a little while, a few months, but then the kids just were like, "Oh, okay," and that was it. And it also helped. I think it helped my kids the most once they started calling me dad. Once Emmanuel started calling me dad, and Alicia started talking, and then I was daddy. I think that helped my kids. Like, okay, this is for real. This isn't a temporary thing. So, Dad's got a girlfriend again. Nothing like that. You know what I mean? So I mean, but yeah, I mean, but as far as our relationship, only for a little while. But I mean, one of the things that we did in the beginning of our relationship that helped us get to know one another, we used to just listen to music. We would turn our phones on and just listen to different songs and just kind of talk. And I mean, we've stopped doing that over the years, but over the last about a year or so. But yeah, I mean, those as far as for her and I, that's when we started to see things a little bit differently. Does that make sense?
So if we could put together 3 goals for our future sessions, what do you think you would want to start with?
Maybe making, because we used to be really good about spending time together just as a couple. We try still to at least do a date day. So I think, and we're both talking about trying to become more active. So I think that it would be good on the day of the week. When's our date day usually? Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Tuesdays is our date day. That
Movie theaters are least busy.
Exactly. We usually go to the movies, and we could probably hit trail and go for a walk for an hour and just kind of reconnect and talk and everything like that.
Okay. And so, what about with helping Mignonette feel more secure, like feeling that you're receptive and that it's a no judgment zone? Because that's something that she said that she was kind of struggling with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's. I mean, in all honesty, going back to the whole negativity thing that I do have, I'm a Capricorn. Not that means anything, but kind of. I think more than anything, I wouldn't want to talk to somebody who is constantly complaining about things that are about existential crises, because that's all it comes down to. I have an issue with this with right now politically. I have an issue with the administration, so the whole world's against me at this point. Is what it feels like, and I voice that, and I voice it in a very angry and negative way, and I wouldn't want to talk to me if I've got something on my mind either. So I need to be more aware, which I mean I definitely will be now, on how that makes her feel. And then, if it's really bothering me, sit down and talk about it. But it doesn't have to consume my life 3-4 days a week if it's that bad. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think it's just putting things in check.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Putting things in checks and balances, and allowing her to feel like, hey, it's okay to vent, babe. I'm not trying to ruin your life or make you think about the nukes that are about to go off. That's not. I've got to change the way. That's what it comes down to. I just have to change the way I communicate those things to her, so that she's not like, oh, Jesus, I can't talk to him. He's all stressed out over nothing.
So kind of weighing the negatives with some positives.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly.
And it works that you guys have a good sense of humor and that you understand each other's sense of humor, so that you can keep that consistency and stability. So what I want to do leading up into the next session to really get more of a feel for your guys' relational background is I want to administer to you one of the Gottman's questionnaires that they use for couples, and it has 5 sections, and those 5 sections address different areas. Um, for the sake of time, I'm just going to give that to you all to do, and then on our next session, we can review those. So you both will have the same questionnaire. They use I statements, which means you each are doing it independently based on how you feel, and then as in the next joint session, that's when we'll discuss the results together. So you guys are kind of for the first time see how each other really feels about things that maybe topics that you talk about, maybe things that you haven't talked about or haven't encountered, and then trying to tie that in with some of the goals that you all have set. So it sounds like we have a pretty good plan of where we want this to go and what issue we want to resolve. But it may be some underlying issues that we're not aware of that this Gottman assessment may make us aware of in the next session. Any questions?
No, pretty cut and dry.
All right. Thank you.